A baby, baby, baby. Oh, the diarrhea. Yeah, diarrhea full of shit. Just play along with myself and I had no one else to jump to the It's morning time. I'm sad and alone. Hating on life, plotting my revenge on the world. Pissed on, pissed off, pissed. Defeated, deflated, blah, blah, blah. I ain't got no boo thing in my life. I ain't got no boo thing to call my wife. Hey, Katie Boo. That being said, I think I may have to take back what I said about you. You can be my wife, and you can get pregnant anytime you want. You want a baby? No big deal. You don't gotta go down to the baby store, Babies R Us, and buy you one. You can make one at any time you want. Because you're good enough, you're smart enough, and gosh darn it, there's a man out there who would love you nice and good like. Maybe you found him already, maybe you didn't. Anyway, there was something for a snow meter at O'Hare Airport, which is in Chicago. You live near there. Well, you live in Chicago. And, I know, anyway. I mean, you know where you live, so. But, it was from 6 years ago. Because I was like, man, is it snowing like that up in Chicago? Because winter has been really mild down here in Colorado. So, anyway, must be fate. We're supposed to snuggle up. We're supposed to cuff each other during this cuffing season and every cuffing season thereafter. And between cuffing seasons. And sip a hot cocoa and the ice in the winter and the iced tea in the summer, you know, and oh. But anyway, so leave a comment below. Let's kick this off. Let's do this. I got a bunch of jars of cheese whiz with your name on it. Let's get crazy with it. And then there was another one. It was a news thing. A guy walked in with a pit bull to a pizzeria. And the guy was like, you're not allowed to have a pit bull in here. It was off leash. Then he beat him up, choked him out, and then stomped on his head when he was knocked out. Put him in a coma for 2 weeks. Was treated for like 2 months. And that's excessive, obviously. They got him for 4 counts of assault. And attempted murder. Judge gave him 17 years. Eligible for parole. I believe the standard across the board is you got to serve 85% of your sentence. You know. He was drunk. That seems like a bit, much time to me, but, I don't know. I don't know where it was at, but that just goes to show you, fighting, it's better to just avoid it. Because a lot of times you can get caught up in the moment, but even if you're, cool as a cucumber, I saw this one news story where it was like a high school kid, he was like an athlete type dude, wrestler. And he tackled this guy, who was pointing a rubber bander at the cashier, armed robbery. And I didn't follow that through. I should have, but I guess they sued him. He got in trouble, And there's some fucked up shit. Katie Boo, you're a good Christian girl, which I think is adorable. I would consider myself a Christian, just a bad one. But it does say, in the Bible, and towards the end times, good will be considered bad and wrong will be considered right. So, I mean, it's been the end of times basically since we've been keeping track, but I think maybe this might be it. Who knows? But I don't know, because as I said, I mean, there's been some pretty fucked up times, like the witch hunt days, and public executions, and there's been a lot of brutal, sin in this world. So the fact that people are out protesting, the fact that illegals, should have more rights than citizens, in the grand scheme of things, really isn't that bad. Because it used to be, if you was a broad who lived alone, like I said, big no-no. Dude can live alone, it's just fine, so he's just eccentric. He don't bother nobody, he don't hurt nobody. A broad lives alone, 200 years ago, and you were a witch. And all you had to do to be found guilty is, your neighbor, swore on the third moon of the half-rising Sunday, that they saw you, I don't know, turned into a cat. And it's like there was no questions asked, it's like, yeah, I don't know. The broad losing her shit, with the purple hair, it's like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass, but things ain't really that bad in the grand scheme of things. I'll just say. I think it was Mr. Pellet. The title was, "Oh, hell no. Miss Broad has this fucked up, nasty teeth." I think that might be photoshopped. I would hope. If it wasn't for her teeth, maybe she just needs some love in her life. You think she's a lesbian? You think she's not only a lesbian, but hates men with a passion? Maybe she just hasn't met the right man. Did you watch that one video of the wah girl? That poor girl has problems. She just doesn't get it. It's almost like he did it on purpose. Yeah, he did it on purpose. He changed. He was like, oh, this girl's the one. And then he found out you had an open roster, where all your boy toys had cute little nicknames. And he was like, shit. All of a sudden, this is kind of the easiest decision I've ever made in my life. Good luck with everything. But anyway, I guess that's all I gotta say, baby. Hey, it's just those two things. Oh, shit. Oh. Eight and a half minutes. Oh, no, I was thinking about, food and stuff. No, get your mind out the car. I sound like your friend, Patty McFatfuck. Because she probably goes to a therapist, too, right? You probably all do. Maybe not Little Miss Can Eat a Potato Sideways, and maybe not, Mom. With the tits. Fuck. I thought she was Mexican or Latino or at least of that nature, but it turns out she's Russian. Oh, shit. Changes the game. Gotta tell two stories real quick for the cheap seats. You may have heard them, you may have not. One time I was at a shipper, and this guy started talking to me in Russian, and I'm all like, come again? He's all, you're Russian, right? And I'm like, nope. So apparently Russians have a look, and I'm in it. Oh, that's happened twice. I've seen a person, and I thought, I bet you that person talks like this, and later I heard him talk, and it does. So apparently people who talk like this apparently do have a look. Which is weird, because it's like, there's, people from different parts of the world that are, obviously have a look, quote unquote, but you know what I'm saying? So, you ever seen that movie? What was it called? It's got Jeff Bridges, as he's in it briefly, He's an F-16 pilot. They get shot down. He gets offed. And Owen Wilson was like the backseater. So it was like an F-18, I think. So it must have been an F-18, like the radar jammer version. And there's this guy, and his name is Michel or something like that. That guy, it's like you can tell. It's like, yeah, that guy. You know what I mean? It's like, so you know what I'm saying, right? It's like they just kind of have a look. And there were some foreign exchange students from Russia, 3 girls when I was in school. When I met a little wavy skirt that went above her knees, and I was in love. And they had the accents, and they were like, to us, you have the accents. And I was like, silly girl, Americans don't have accents, flatline. So, anyway, so that's that. Oh, so as I said, if I do the driving thing, the weights are going to be easier, but the cardio is going to be harder, but I can still do it, at the truck stop, not at the truck stop, but depending on the neighborhood, I can go down some sidewalk somewhere or rest areas just sort of around, and then do shit, proper when I get home, do like 2 a day, 30-minute cardios on the treadmill and all that. And if I get a non-CDL job, which is what I suspect will happen, I can do stuff in the evening, at least like a little bit, if I have time, just like pick one muscle group or whatever, And then on the weekends, get in a good workout and do the treadmill thing. I still need to buy a bench press and all that stuff and the multi-station, workout station. For like the butterflies and the lat curls and all that, lat pulls. Like I said, right now I have like a sit-down exercise bike. Because for dudes, if you spend too much time on a bike, it puts pressure, in that spot between your asshole and your balls. Dudes have a space there. Girls, not so much. Girls. Silly girls. And, because your vagipus is more down low, is where a dude, his dick is more up front to facilitate breeding, regardless of the position. And, so that bike, a bench that's like adjustable. Well, it's got like a wide seat. And the treadmill, a weight rack, and 15, 25, 35, 45, and 55-pound weights. Which is really all a person needs. But I would like to get a bench press that has the leg exercise for the front and the back of the legs. So you can, kick them out and then flip over on your stomach and curl your legs up. I like that. A lot of the big, heavy-duty bench presses don't, have that, the kind with the 45-pound bar. But I could just use that bench and get some sort of, I don't know how I do that. Because you want any muscle that you do, if it's got, you want to equal, work that. Otherwise, you can, you know what I'm saying? So, kind of like your shoulders, you need to do all different kinds of exercises. Otherwise, you get lopsided looking shoulders. I guess that's all I gotta say. So, I think as far as food goes, I think I will, because when I'm out on the road, I used to stay out for 3 weeks and then come home for 4 days. So, I could take my restart and pull into, some Walmart, and get some food or something. But, boy, that'd be kind of weird, especially if it was a Walmart, kind of in this area where I used to deliver. Just a swift kick in the ass, It's like, yeah, I used to do this. I used to deliver here. I mean, shit happens, life happens, you know what I mean? And, as of right now, like I said, I'm still doing the drinking thing and all that. So it's like, there was really nothing learned but, life happens. Generally there's something good to be gained from everything. Some things are just pure negatives, but it is what it is. Yeah, it just is what it is. So. But yeah, I think that's going to kind of be my process. As I said, I want to get healthy on a cellular level so I can eat sensible, and then splurge like, every third weekend. And that doesn't mean like go on a weekend, sugar and carbohydrate bender. Like I said, that just means, going and getting a pizza, stopping by Dairy Queen on the way home, getting a box of donuts and the chocolate milk for the next day. That's my life. Every 3 weeks, that's the goal I'm shooting for. Shit. Yep. But, and like I said, driving over the road, I'm the perfect candidate for that. As I said, in theory, if you and I were a thing, I couldn't do that. I don't know how people do. Stay married. I would imagine their wife is probably getting validation, quote unquote, whatever, on the internet. And, depending on the kid situation, bitches do what bitches do. And bitches, they need attention. They need touch. And, the sex is kind of different with chicks, It just depends on the chick, obviously, but, it's more, because guys are the fuckers, chicks are the fuckies. We do the entering, the chicks get entered, So it's like different, and that's why they have that issue with the more dicks they have up in them, the different partners, it changes their ability to make a connection. It's been proven. They did like a test, but you can look it up, whatever. But that itch does come up that needs to be scratched. And if Papa Bear is gone for 3 fucking weeks at a time, and he just, even jacking off, is easier and more convenient for a dude. You know what I mean? So, but it's kind of a different deal. But I'm not saying every, time a chick needs to scratch that itch, it's like an intimate encounter. No, sometimes it's just straight up, need to get the friction on, but I don't know how people do it. I honestly don't think they do, and they're not there to help little Susie Q or Billy Boy with his homework or play catch or wrestle with him in the evening, and stuff like that. And I think that is, I know it is super duper important. If you got a family, you shouldn't drive over the road. That is a dumb decision. You can drive local. You can work a lot of hours, just as long as, and again, everybody's got to strike that, like if you're the dude who's working 12 hours and has, an hour commute or something like that, you're kind of missing out on that evening between school time, and whatnot. So, but everybody's got to strike that balance because everybody's got to pay the bills, and they also have to do the parent thing. So, but I ain't got to worry about that because that's not who I am. You ain't got to worry about that because you're too damn old to have kids. So you can just relax about that. You can remove that from your mind. Kids are not in your future. A man could be in your future. You'll have your day, a white wedding, like that song. Who sings that? I don't know. A day for a white wedding. It's a good day to start again. I don't know. Now fucko's like, because that movie, The Breakfast Club, or what's his name? I think his name is Bender. Bender? Winning. He was looking at, I forget her name. She's all old shit now. She's probably all fat shit. Kind of cute. Man, back in like the 80s. I don't know when that that movie was made. And Emilio Estevez and whoever else. There's this goth chick. A nerd. What do you know about trigonometry? What do you know about lamps? Without trigonometry, there'd be no whatever trigonometry does. Without lamps, there'd be no light. Yeah, because I think I had mentioned that, and that was back in the day when, and I wish I wouldn't even said that, because I know fuckos out there, And like I said, fucko, as far as she's concerned, I'm like the movie star, that, women have a crush on, So it's like they know, it's like, oh, I'm unobtainable. But, I'm just a fantasy. So, am I flattered? No. No, she's just out there. Like I said, I do what I do because I'm weird, but, the tits and whatnot, but that's, and I'm sure she probably doesn't believe me. I was like, that's just what he does. He's mean. But, see, like right now, she's like, oh my God, did we just have a moment? No, we didn't. I know there was that time where I was like, fucking but check you gotta do. Number one, I hadn't found you yet. And number two, I was playing you. I just wanted to see if you're out there. Now I know you are. So now we're back to square one. Make yourself useful, dig a hole, jump in it, and bury yourself. I love it when you talk mean to me. I just bet you do. Like I said, I kind of created a monster. Maybe it's just the way she's wired. But like I said, she's just out there. I'm the movie star who's unobtainable, who she fantasizes about. She'll be a fan for probably her whole life, even if I don't think she's in a relationship right now. She was. And then, I don't know if she's ever going to get married or not. She's kind of up there in age. I think she's roughly the same age as Mrs. Butthead. Like a few years younger, so, She's going to school to be a nurse, so she does have a career that's in demand and will carry her through the rest of her life. Mrs. Butthead, no, but she's always just been a phone answerer, a filer of information and shit like that, but she's with the Gweed, and I don't see the Gweed leaving her, so I don't know the Gweed from nothing. I don't know Mrs. Butthead from nothing, but truth be known. I mean, I know what I know. Let's not get that confused. There's the empirical evidence, but I don't know. I really don't know. So, like I said, pussies don't have faces. So, they sometimes because sometimes butts have faces, but anyway. And like I said, originally I'd christened her that because you'd rather look at her butt than her ass, or her butt than her face, but because she used to at least be shapely, didn't have no, but she was like in a span, and then this thing's played out, and she's got she's one of these chicks that has ass cheeks that don't move, and now they're huge, Hibbery Dibbery is the same way. Like I said, I've seen chicks, in pajamas that, it's like there's nothing there. She's kind of got a booty butt, but, there's nothing there. And then there's that chick the other day where it's like, oh, shit, I have seen the elusive Jiggle and the Wiggle chick. And she was cute and had shoulder-length hair. And, oh, my God. I bet you masturbated to her, humped off to her, didn't you? No. Will I? No. I don't, not her in particular. I'm going to have my stuff, that in my, things that I use, but no, she's not included in that. But that was cool. I was like, damn, because you don't actually see that very much. Like I said, occasionally, oh my God, that one chick that used to work in the office, you know, she cute, older, dickable face, you know, bigger ass cheeks, but not like big. That's not what I mean when I say that. You know, they were like, and just the up and down movement was just superb. She didn't have jiggle and wiggle, but oh fuck, like I said, my dick tingled, like when I would see her. So, just saying. But I guess that's all I gotta say. 26 minutes in. See, Katie Boo, like I said, you've got the shape. Oh, you got the shape. But you don't have, you don't have jiggle and wiggle. And I'll have to look at some videos of you again. I don't even think you really have the up and down movement. And I don't know what kind of butt crack you got. You know, you might actually kind of be, I'm just saying, just being honest, you might actually be disappointing in the ass department. Don't know what kind of pussy puff you got. I don't like to gobble shit up, but, you know, I don't actually know, like, if you've got, you know, a thong pussy hammock. I don't know how your butt cheeks, you know, if they come together at the bottom or if they kind of, you know, are kind of splayed out, you know. So it's like if I'm looking at you from behind, can I see your puss or, you know, not. But you're this petite little thing. And like I said, you know, chicks come in all different shapes and sizes, and they have way more parts attached to their frame, and each individual part comes in each individual shapes and sizes. So, and your tits are non-existent, you know, they're mosquito bites with nipples, you know, but, you know, and you're the prettiest girl in the whole damn world, even without makeup. You know, you're cute. With makeup, you're popping. You're just like, you could bring any man to his knees, you know, and you could control him and get him to do whatever you wanted. Not me. You know, I'd play it cool. You couldn't get me to do what you wanted, and I'd play it cool, but then I'd like get out of your line of sight, and I'd be like, oh shit. But without makeup, you know, you're cute. You know, I could totally see myself, you know, waking up next to you and just, you know, giving you a gentle kiss on the forehead in the morning and starting the day. But fortunately for you and me, we don't have to worry about such drama, because I'm just a troll. Don't do that sort of shit, and it's complete and utter fucking bullshit. So I'm gonna find you a nice little boy up there in Chicago. Did I mention the accountant? I think I did. I don't know what type of guy you like, you know. Like, what's your ideal guy? Let me guess. You know, the whole macho thing, you know, this, that, and the other. But yeah, he'd probably treat you pretty good. Like I said, maybe I'll contact my future best cool breeze today. I'll introduce you to chickens, like a simp. Well, you know what? You know what I mean? He lives up there in Chicago. So, and at that point, you'll be like, oh, you know, since you're introducing me to someone else, you fucking cuckboy, you know, maybe we should like go out on a date. And I'd be like, you're right. I never thought of that. A date wouldn't hurt anything. We could have sex and shit. Yeah, it's a good idea. You know, and then that would fuck things all up, and I'd do my thing, and you'd do your thing, and you'd be doing a video of you crying in the car. This motherfucker was so mean to me. I'm never gonna hit him.